What is up, entrepreneurs? Welcome to Entree Woman TV. My name is Diana Gladney. I'm your hostess with the mostess. And today we have a live helpcast session where I will be diving into some questions. I see we got Robbie held up in chat room back in the background. So I'll hop over to you in just a minute, brother. But glad that you're here. Good to see you. So whether you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you for being here. So after an ridiculous amount of questions, not really ridiculous, it's understandable. We all have been kind of like supercharged and thrown ahead in time when it comes to live streaming and hashtag all the things. And it can be difficult. It can be frustrating and it can be hard. And especially if you're trying to learn new technology and a bunch of different systems and things that you've maybe never used before, then that's what today is going to be all about. So today's live helpcast is going to be diving into some questions that you guys have. So if you want to hop in and ask your question live, hashtag quote unquote in person, you want to go to Diana.link /join, and I'll get that up on the screen and you can do that. And so that's where you go to Diana.link /join to become a part of the cast. But we got
Hello, how you doing?
a little bit of or yeah, I'm getting feedback.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
You're getting weird audio situation coming back at you.
I'm not sure why.
Okay, I could put the question in text if you want.
Let me see if I can adjust. And you're having the audio playback through your headphones, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. That's interestingly weird.
Yeah, let me see if I can change my audio and help you out. Let's see.
Okay.
Is this any better?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect, because now I'm not... Okay, yeah, great. Awesome. So, Robbie, how you doing? Good to see you. Tell us a little bit about you, what you got going on, and what you need help with today.
Yeah, thanks so much. I found you back from when I grabbed the M50. Got some great videos on that. And I'm rocking Sparkle Cam right now, of course. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the answer is no here. But is there any way to send into Cam.link the autofocus without the box? Because there was like a recent update in Sparkle Cam or something. Mm-hmm. So like within Sparkle Cam, I was able to get no focus box and still do autofocus, and that's great. And again, I'm pretty sure the answer is no, but might as well ask. Is there a way to have the M50 send HDMI to the Cam.link using autofocus without the box being in there?
So the limitations around using the Cam.link, like to begin with, suck because it's not anything like of the Cam.link. It's just natively within the Canon M50 things that they have caused to be a limitation. So you literally have to turn everything off, and that includes the autofocus box, because there's no way to have autofocus remain active and you're streaming via HDMI and again just maintain autofocus. I have not found any way to really get around that. I wish that I did, but as many things as I've tried, I've not found anything to do that. But if you're using Sparkle Cam, you should not be getting... It's either one or the other, either using like the USB method or using the HDMI method. And so if you're using the USB method and you're using Sparkle Cam, then that should pretty much take care of that side of things where you maintain autofocus, but you're not having to use the HDMI at all. And so the thing is, it's like you may have to adjust some settings within Sparkle Cam as to what it decides to mirror or mimic or share. Mm-hmm. And then that may make the difference. But for the most part, Sparkle Cam, it did pretty much the same thing like the Ecamm Live would do. It may be some different settings to go in there and kind of adjust to kind of get it to kick into doing what it's supposed to.
All right, cool. Thank you. And since kind of based on that, if you don't mind, because I have I'm pretty new to this. I use this for like teaching online lessons and stuff, some piano, guitar, stuff like that. and I've made a few YouTube videos before, but other than that, just pretty new to videos. This may seem kind of basic, but what's like a nice way to kind of assure I get the manual on my face? Like I don't know, I like put my hand here where I think it'll be and I adjust it. I'm like, I guess that's good. Or do you have any like videos on that or anything, or any tips?
I literally just recorded that video this morning to upload that to the channel, hopefully to get it out by tomorrow. Because awesome. Recognizing it's different if you're behind the camera and you want to try to live stream, then, it's a little bit better, but it sucks like nobody's business when you try to just, do it from a distance and, have everything that you want in the shot. But here's what I do. Especially if like you have your arm, is why I widen the screen out some. If you have this scissor arm or a tripod or something, I'll literally bring this up until it runs into my chest. And then I have the back of my chair, and that should be my depth of field, or from the microphone to the back of the chair, it should be my width. That way, when I'm bringing this microphone here, when I go back around to manually focus, you want to make sure you have your autofocus peaking on, and that'll be in that red camera menu on the M50. You'll go in and you will select sub menu number 5. So just that first little red option, and then sub menu number 5. On there, you'll see autofocus or manual focus MF peaking settings. Make sure it's on. Then you can pick a color that works for you, whether it's yellow, blue, or red. And then that's pretty much it. Then when you're manually focusing on the lens, you'll be able to see what's in focus. And so what you want now then is from whatever, you can use a Joby GorillaPod, something to let you know I'm sitting up to about right here. And then I may lean back, between that depth or that width. So you want the dots, the manual focus dots, wherever the parts that are highlighted, to go from the microphone or whatever that object is to the back of the chair. Once you see all of that area kind of like highlighted, or a dot here and a dot on the chair, you kind of have that covered. And that's the easiest way to try to figure that out, but still give yourself enough range to move back and forth, so that you're not like your nose is in focus, then your eyeball, and then your ear. And it's like, why was your ear in focus the whole time? It's just like, oh, that messed the manuals up. But yeah, that's what I had to do when I did that last video. And it was like the USB versus it was a pain in the butt trying to get both, because it's just like, I got to keep going around. But that was the easiest way, is just to find that width and that depth. And then once you do that, you may be able to mark it or somewhere on the lens, or put a piece of tape. So, just like line the pieces of tape up, and then that works for your space. That's the best that I found. But I literally just recorded that video this morning to try to get it out by tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I have a scissor arm here, so I guess I could just put this kind of close to the chair where it is. That's awesome. And the M50, it shows dots of
Yep. It'll show you and that's the peaking feature. We got tropical people in places. Hello, good to see you, brother. So but it's it'll show you little colored dots around that item. So again, you pick the color that you think would work best for that environment. You can always change it. So in here, blue or red or something is easy to see on this black surface. So once you see red on the microphone, red on the chair, then that works. The key though to making sure that you are getting enough depth is to adjust your aperture, that f 3.5, f 2.8, whatever that number is. Make that number bigger so that you can get more space, because the smaller that number is, the shallower your depth of field is. And yeah, you'll have a super blurry background, but nobody will be able to tell you, because you'll be out of focus the whole time. So that's going to be the key to get that kicked over though.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks so much for your help with that. That's great. I also
Absolutely.
like to use metallic Sharpies. Maybe I'll do that to mark up.
Yeah.
Silver Sharpie to mark where it'll be on the lens.
That's the easiest way. It's just so I try to systematize everything as best as I can, so I don't have to have headaches around, trying to figure the rest out.
That's perfect. Yeah, I appreciate your help. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, Rod. Appreciate you coming to the stream.
Absolutely. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Looking forward to that video.
Yeah, it'll be out. I'll work on it today.
Awesome.
So it's awesome having Robbie on the stream. Thanks for being here. So again, if you guys want to hop in and ask your specific questions, you can throw that in the chat if you're most comfortable, or if you want, you can go ahead and go to Diana.link /join. You can do that on your phone or on the computer and come on like Robbie did and get your questions answered. That way you can go ahead and get some help from me directly and in person somewhat. So let's hop over to the chat real quick and I will get you guys some help. So let's see here. We have Mike Breton. Actually, let me move my screen so I can actually see a little bit better. Saying, hey, it's Mike that you have been helping through Facebook Messages. Oh, hello. Good to see you. Thank you for your help. My pleasure. My pleasure. Glad to be of assistance. So the thing is, when it comes to live streaming and getting your setup cleared, then you want to make sure, or not really clear, you just want to try to systematize again, like me and Robbie were talking about. You want to try to get it as streamlined as possible. Once you set something up, you don't want to have to keep refiguring things out 20 times over. That's the best way to become inefficient. It becomes more frustrating, and you want to stream less and less and less because you are thinking about 87 different things before you actually are able to go live. And it's already the stress on top of showing up and doing what it is that you want to do for your content, and it gets frustrating. So as easy as it is for me to spontaneously think like, you know what, I've been getting a lot of questions, people asking if I can look at their setup or whatever the case is, like, let me do a quick impromptu stream today and see how I can help somebody if the timing is right or what have you. Because usually on Fridays, we do our Friday live chats at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I don't have time this evening. So it's like, I got time in the afternoon. Let me go ahead and kick that on. So we got a question here or a comment. I'm not sure. I haven't read it yet. But let's see. We got picked up the M50 after watching a bunch of videos, yours included. Really enjoying it so far. Trying to get out of automatic mode and learning the other modes. Well, that is awesome. You know what? I think when it comes to learning how to go into manual focus, that is probably the hardest thing. And I see you in there, Eric. I'm gonna hop in there. So just make sure your audio and stuff is good. Your headphones. Like that haircut. I had it not that long. Okay, y'all will see in a minute. I'm getting distracted. And so says picked up the M50, watched a bunch of videos. So here's the thing when it comes to cameras. Cameras are intimidating, but I promise if you can drive a car, even with, you know, not the best driver, had a couple accidents, we all forgive you. Okay, maybe you had an SR22. I finally realized what that was a long time ago. Neither here nor there. The thing is, you have to do it to actually get good at it. You can't play Grand Theft Auto, you know, Grand Theft Auto 5 specifically, best one out there, past San Andreas, also not important. However, you want to get in the seat. You have to get behind the camera and do it. And one of the easiest things to do right now, especially, we all have a bunch of time, we're all at home, take your camera and make yourself go into different environments. When I buy a new camera for 30 days, I literally carry that camera every single place that I go to make sure that I have a cause to use it. If I'm going to my mama's house, I'll zoom in on the food real quick. Probably not because I want to eat my food. I'm not that Instagrammer. Let me take a picture. I'm the let's eat, and I'll show you the empty plate. And that's proof of how good it was. But it's like, I'll go from indoors to outdoors, go down the basement steps to where it's darker and see what is the camera doing? What's happening on the menu comparative to what I've learned and what I've seen. And do I understand that? So it's really starting with learning to recognize what's happening on the screen of your camera. And then, like, what does that mean? Why is it showing that? If I wanted to change this and make it better, what would I do? That's one of the easiest things when you're thinking about that. So we got Eric. Eric, put your video back on and I'll bring you in, my brother. Oh, there you go.
All right.
What's up, Eric? Good to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good. You can hear me clear? I'm using Bluetooth
Doing awesome.
headphones. Oh.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So first of all, thank you. Your videos have been helping me for quite some time, and it's awesome that you're doing this. I appreciate that.
Sure thing. My pleasure. Glad you on board, my brother. How can I help?
All right, so I can get to rambling, so cut me off because I might ask you a million questions.
Okay.
So, so you actually helped me decide to get the Canon M50 right
Okay.
here. And what I'm trying to do, I guess the easiest way to explain it is, I don't want to call them reaction videos, but I kind of want, what I'm trying to do is record myself
Okay.
and have music playing while I'm also recording myself. And what I
Okay.
mean by that is, like, I want to play, like, I don't know, a song, but I want it to come in good and clear. I had this question better prepared a moment ago.
You
I want it to come in good and clear, and I don't want my mic to affect, because I'm having some issues. Actually, look, I actually bought this because of you too.
Okay.
The
Behringer, yeah, that 202 HD.
Yep. So I bought that, and I'm familiar with these. I've had an M-Box before. So what would you recommend is the best way to record myself, run the camera through the Behringer, but also have music playing periodically when I want it to play at a good level? Like, I want the music to be clear.
So first thing, we always want to test before we ever go live, just to make sure that from the controlling standpoint, we can see how stressful is it for us to run. And then from the viewer standpoint, what's their experience? Because we never want to give them a poor experience. That's the easiest. Audio, especially audio exhaustion, it being too loud, too harsh, wrong tonalities. That's the easiest way to hurt somebody's ears. So what you want to do is you want to give software some of that responsibility. What I would do, depending on what software that you're using, if you're on a Mac, obviously I'm going to say Ecamm Live, or if you're using something else, you still want to mimic that kind of a setup where you can either put yourself in a bubble, or even like today I'm using StreamYard. And so trying to give them some shine. So, you know, it's like you put yourself off to the side or whatever the case is, so that you're still on screen. The camera is pulling in from this feed over here, but you can go small in the corner or to the side, whatever the case is. Have whatever it is that you're showing, a game, you know, demo, whatever. The audio side of things, though, is going to be done a couple different ways. Either the software that you're using can let you play. Are you doing this live or recorded video? Let me ask that.
Well, see, that's the thing. And I watched one of your videos earlier. I want to record it.
Okay.
I don't want right now. I don't want to do live right now.
Okay. So here's same thing. It's the same kind of setup. It's just a matter of if you're doing it in real time or not. And so what you want to do at that point still, especially if you're doing software, you can record yourself, but you want to kind of get as many things synced up and lined up together as possible, so that when it's time to just at least render that video out, the editing and most of it is done. That's what I call like into that record to edit process. Basically, we're recording, we're setting up a system, we're figuring out the audio levels. So again, this microphone is always at 67% because I know how loud I talk, whether I'm laughing or whatever the case, like it's never going to peak at 67%. If I go anything over that, we're all screwed. So that you want to dial in your settings as much as possible. So you can record, still use this live streaming software or whatever the case is to pick up some of that heavy lifting, pull the feed in from the camera, put you in the small box, share the screen of whatever. Now, where the audio interface comes into play is you don't want to try to hook this up really via XLR, because we're still going to end up converting it to USB. So because you can use that Behringer 202 HD or the 404 HD, you can take a lot of audio, heavy lifting, deal with any delays, and really pipe that in, because those things have nearly no delays at all. You can take an old, hold on real quick. You can take you can take an old smartphone, like an old iPhone, Android phone, whatever, put the tracks on there so you have it like setting off to the side, and you can handle and hit the play or get a playlist going. You know, it takes me 15 minutes to run through this. This is the playlist of what I want. And that way you have physical dials to pump that in. You can pump that in through the headphone jack or whatever. But that way, all of the audio that's controlled, dialed in, whatever, is pumping into the computer. So your video is taken care of. It's getting some heavy lifting taken care of via software. But audibly, we're still making sure we're minimizing latency. We're still making sure we're accounting for the volume levels, and we still have control, because if you decide you want to change tracks, you don't have to stop what you're doing, switch screens, blah, blah, blah. You got a phone, you just literally changing that thing.
Okay. All right. I'm an amateur, right? So everything you said, I get it, but I just need a little bit more. But again, okay. So, all right, let me tell you what I'm doing now, and you just tell me where I'm going wrong.
Okay.
All right. So I have the camera set up. The first thing I tried was I had a mic plug going directly into the camera and then running it to the headphone of the Behringer.
Okay, you had a mic going from the camera and then from the headphone going into the Behringer. Okay.
Go to the Behringer headphone. Because I saw a video, like I was watching your videos and one other guy's video, and it showed a way that you can, run the audio from the camera to the Behringer. And I did it, but then when I played it through the camera, I wasn't really, I don't know, maybe I did something wrong. I wasn't really wowed by it. So then I saw another recommendation to do it all in post. So basically, hook up my audio interface, have my microphone hooked up to that, record on my camera, and then put it in like FL Studio or whatever audio program I want to use later. They said that was recommended. Would you say that would be the way to go? And also, do you think I'll get good audio? Like let's say I'm using a mic like this.
Okay, a condenser mic. Yep.
Right. What would you say is the best way to record, to like literally play the music, to record? Like, how should I record the music though?
I still would pump, if you're trying to record the music or whatever, it's one thing to be pumping audio for your voice into the microphone. The reason why I would pump as much as possible through the Behringer is because those have those Midas preamps, and Midas is just like a tried and true audio company. And so the preamps sound pristine. It's always going to sound better than anything, even Panasonic or Sony, the best of the best, can do inside the camera. So that you're saying like, well, I really wasn't wild. Yeah, it's not really built for all of that. But you can pump as much as you want through that audio interface, because you can take that to a gig and still, have your audio guys hook you up and still run it through. At some point, though, you may want to consider, is that enough for your needs? Because a small mixing board may give you more flexibility to not have to do it in post. And so like you got those Mackie Mix 8s, the Mackie Mix 3, like you can get a real small one that still, you can run it through the Behringer, since that's your audio interface, and it will still convert it to USB and pump it into the computer. But you want to now take an account as to where is your bottlenecks audio wise, because it's only so much we can do via USB, and it's only so much that we can do, in software, even without bottlenecking and hammering down the computer. So at that point, you may want to consider, for your case, then the Behringer may not have been the best buy for you, because it's like, if you need more, or if you're, like that, it's going to cap you off. You may need something that's still an audio interface, but it has a mixed board component. So you can literally hook in and connect natively everything that you need to on the board, have manual controls and all of that. So you can still mix it live if you want, and just feed it into whatever you're doing. If you're recording it, you get an audio recorder. Some of the boards have some art, like the most expensive ones, but it's like top of the line, it's legit, would be that Rodecaster Pro. You can record directly in that thing. So it literally gives you more flexibility. So that's your biggest, you're going to have to answer that for yourself. What's your biggest thing that you're trying to do? If audio is where the cap is, and it's just like, I'm hitting the wall here, something's wrong. Either we need to switch software, or we need to switch the hardware. So the Behringer is maybe, outdoing it for you, because your microphone, sometimes for the most, it's not an all-in-one thing. That's the biggest answer. It's not an all-in-one solution. So if you got a condenser mic, that's picking up other room noise, that's picking up, if you're in the studio, you're fine. If you're someplace here, you're not. So you may have got the wrong mic, picking up wrong stuff.
I have a wireless mic too, but I feel like I'm striking out with all the equipment that I had. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's that?
This is a Sennheiser. I record music myself too, so I needed a new audio interface anyway. So it's still good that I have it, but I think what you may be right with the mixer idea. Maybe a mixer.
So the biggest, so now I would say before you buy anything else,
Okay.
take an account and an audit of what are all of the things that I have that I own right now. What system can I create? Because if you just buy stuff, it's hell trying to make stuff work. But it's easier to say I have 17 things. I only need 4 to make a competent system, and maybe one little thing that'll make the difference into making this flawless to like, but that's the biggest thing. When you start buying too much gear, you need to put a bunch, like you really need to audit what you have and put a bunch of that stuff to the trash, because when you're getting too many things, you should never buy any one thing for one job unless it just is doing the hell out of that job. If you start buying, well, let me get a wireless mic and let me get a whatever. I never would have bought the Rode Wireless Goes if I didn't see multiple capabilities. But if it did one sole singular job right, and that's like the only job that I'm going to have for it, but it takes a lot of headache, it's worth for that one thing. But don't just go buying a bunch of stuff. So take an audit of what you have, see what out of what you have, what is going to give you the easiest system that's just going to make it work for you and get you the fastest path to success, and then remove that other stuff out the way. Because the more you start trying to add in, you're rebuilding a system now.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
It definitely does.
Okay.
I have more, but I don't want to hold up the other people.
Okay, I'll bring you back in here. I tell you what, let's give it a few minutes. Let me jump through this chat, and then I'll bring you back in.
I may have to go to a meeting, but I appreciate it. I'll comment and message you.
Okay, sound good. Appreciate you hopping on. No problem. Take care.
Bye.
All right, y'all. So let's hop over to the chat and let's see what we got going on here. All right. So I got a little bit to catch up on. So Super Bored Sunday said, I've been using AV, which is aperture priority for those that don't know, mode, and a lot of fiddling with the settings. I understand, and that could be frustrating as hell. So it's like, but the reason that's a partial manual, go ahead and learn manual, like that actual M on your camera. Or really, it's not even that. If you're doing video, be in movie mode. Aperture priority, like you can use it. You can hit the video, but honestly, it's a little bit of a deeper learning curve. But I honestly suggest, even if you're a beginner, start off in manual. You can go no worse than starting there. But it'll also let you know if I change one thing, what's happening to that image. A lot of times as newbie content creators, even if you're an entrepreneur and you're literally a pro in your field, you can still be an amateur in video, but you don't need to be a pro in video to have good quality. There's really only a few components when it comes to video. You have this exposure triangle, which is basically, and I've talked about this on the camera basis. I don't want to dive too deep technically into that because I got a lot of comments. I want to hop to that. But the thing is that you want to understand, if I change this one thing, what's happening on my camera screen? What's being affected? What do I notice? If I change this other one thing, what's happening? What's changing? What's being affected? If you don't know what it's doing or why you're in that mode, you don't know what, especially if the camera's making decisions, you don't know what heavy lifting it's doing for you. You don't know how it's helping you. You probably just saw it on a video and it's just like, oh, okay, I'm going to use that and get the results. It don't work like that. Go to manual mode and start tweaking and fiddling, like do some what I call throwaway videos, to where it's a 5-minute and you're talking about the weather, but you adjusted the ISO, the difference from ISO 500 to ISO 1000, everything else remaining the same. What happened? And so even though this is a little bit of a deeper process, it makes it a little bit harder for you to try to figure things out. It makes it, once you figure it out once, you know exactly what it does. Like the first time you got in the car, you just figured, oh, let me put it in D for drive and that'll work. But then you see 3, 2, 1 underneath that and you're like, well, what does that stuff do? Once you start using it, you know what I'm saying, in the right scenario, it's like, oh, now I know this is when I need to use this and this is when I need to change it. Same kind of thing when it comes to video. TubeFix saying, hey, hi, Diana, I've been watching you for, wait, I know English and I can read. Says, hi, Diana, I've been watching for a while and love what you do. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. Seriously. I'm looking at starting live streaming next week. I have the M50, but I understand the audio doesn't travel through the HDMI. Chris. Well, Chris of TubeFix. Is that tubefix.com? No, but so that's the thing. With the Canon M50, this is not a limitation of, like most people think, like the Elgato Cam Link or something. It's not. Canon, in all of their infinite wisdom, which that's hashtag a joke, they decided to make it not possible for you to pump the audio. I can connect my Sony and do that. You can connect the Panasonic camera and you can pull audio from the camera. So if you're plugging in a shotgun microphone or a lapel microphone like you usually would for a regular video into your Canon M50 and you're noticing I'm not getting audio, it's still picking up from the laptop, that's why. It's not that you can't possibly do it. It's just that this specific camera, and probably outside of the RP, the Canon R maybe, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's like outside, minus those two cameras, every other Canon camera probably sucks for that. It does not, it's just not possible because Canon made it a limitation, not because cameras aren't capable. You need an external audio source. So my camera is probably like 3 steps away from me or so. And I have my microphone here. But if I wanted to switch audio sources to pull from the camera, I could do that. And we could use the shotgun microphone from the camera. But on the M50, that's not possible. So unfortunately, it is what it is. So I have Mike saying I've been using my Canon 90D with USB, and I just picked up a Camlink 4K on Amazon. Is it worth, first of all, how much did you pay? I hope you didn't pay more than like $130 or $170 max for that thing, because if you paid like $300 or $400, send it back. That you just got ripped off. Like, and that's a word to the wise for everybody. Do not buy price gouge items. It is not that serious. So it says, I just picked up a Camlink 4K on Amazon. Is it worth using, or is that USB good enough? Because I can't seem to find any difference. Well, Mike, thanks for the question. So I literally just did a video about that. That should be the last video, minus the stream on the channel, where I did show and jump back and forth between USB and HDMI. There is very minimal difference. Now, unless you are a person that wants to zoom in 1,000% or 400% and be like, yeah, you notice I can't quite see that hair sticking out my mole as good as I can on this other image. Like, those videos become ridiculously stupid to even pay attention to. Because if you're on a Zoom call, if you're, doing a ministry video, if you're working with your clients, they don't care. So I opt, whenever possible, to use the USB method because the difference is minimal. There's not hardly, yes, it may be slightly sharper, like slightly. It's not enough to make any significant difference. And if you have adequate lighting, you can always regain quality back for a camera that may be a little bit lackluster, or use a better lens. Most people opt to, it's like kind of compare the two, like HDMI or USB. It's just like, if you have a good lens, it really won't matter. And how much do we really need to see the ear wax, what I'm saying, on the tip of you? Like, how bad do we need to see, stuff like that? So not necessarily towards you, but just in general though, it's not that big of a deal. Use the USB method, maintain autofocus, have less of a hassle, and be able to see yourself on screen. I think those features are so much more worth it when you're going via USB for live streaming versus HDMI, especially for the Canon M50, where it has so many limitations using that option. And so let's see here. Okay, so if not, I use a separate mic. Will there be any lag on the HDMI video? No. That's it. No, it's not. Said, how are you getting those comments on your screen? Well, my good sir, we are using Today, and Today only. Now, I'm trying to give StreamYard a little bit of love because I don't typically use them that often or at all, honestly. I use Ecamm. I am a golden girl for Ecamm Live because it just is so many things. And like, it's just one feature that's about to drop probably by next week, if not by the end of the month, that is just literally finna like crush, like seriously. So I opt to use Ecamm Live, and it does the same thing. Better, but the same thing. However, I'm using StreamYard today. We're giving StreamYard some love because it is easier to bring on guests. But that is what I'm doing. So if you want to check out StreamYard, go to Diana.link /StreamYard. You should be able to get, like, there's a free version, but there's something attached to that. I don't recall what the affiliate thing is for that, but it's there. So let's hop back over to the comments. Let's see. So Explore Informed. I like that name. Cool name. It said, first time catching you live. Thanks for the M50 content has been helpful for me. Well, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate anytime I get comments or, you know, questions and things around like the content really helping people, because it lets me know as an entrepreneur, as a creator, the content is doing its job. And above all things, my goal is to help you share your vision using video. So I am so glad to hear, seriously, that the videos are doing that. So thank you so much for leaving that. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Said, TubeFix, you're saying saw some guy, or Chris said saw some guy mixing his mic with audio through an iRig setup the other day. It is, when it comes to audio, the possibilities are near about endless. Audio is so much easier to work with than video, because again, in the same way for my brain, the way it works when it comes to video, it like audio is even simpler. So it can be hard sometimes to wrap your brain around some of these video concepts. And when I was first getting started, you can look back at some of my older videos. I'm looking back now like, what the hell? Even like last year, it's just it's just like, what the hell, Diana? But audio is so easy. You can take from, I used to be over the video at my church. And so you can take simple audio devices and just figure out how to connect them, and it works. You can get it to work from from a phone. You can pipe content from a board into a camera. You can do you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to audio. Ceramonic had an XLR type deal. You could use that. It's just a bunch of different things. My favorite one, if it's over here, I don't think it's over here, but I can't find it. But my favorite device though is that Comica, what is it? CVM AX1 or something like that, a little audio interface that sits on top of your camera. That thing is a game changer. I use that for regular stuff. The possibilities are endless, and they're cheap and budget friendly when it comes to audio. So it just works. Let me scroll back up here. iRig, got you. Dr. Rock, like that name too. Yeah, I got some cool channel names. Said it's a nice setup. Keith, I see you back there. I'm gonna hop in with you in just a second, brother. Good to see you. But a real mixer is not much more. Yeah, and then too, so everybody's focusing on the video side of things when it comes to live streaming. I'm telling y'all, audio, if you can, I could switch to my Logitech camera that's like probably $30 or $60 now. And I've done videos like that and fed that in the mix of other videos. Y'all never knew. Nobody ever said anything. You may notice like, that looks kind of different, but you don't know what I'm doing. You may assume I switched to a kit lens or something. And some of the latest videos that look like they're in 4K, super sharp, have been on kit lenses or extremely cheap lenses. That's something I've been working on in the background with different videos, which is why you'll see some that are darker and some that are brighter, like today, experimenting with different types of lenses so that you can see the quality that you can get out of very cheap lenses. So you can do a lot with audio right now. And while everybody's focusing on video stuff, look at like Facebook Marketplace, look at Amazon, because the audio stuff is honestly where it's going to be at. Give it another 2 weeks as people discover when they're doing these videos, oh crap, my audio sucks. And then we'll see people price gouging for that. So I'm gonna hop over to Keith. We got over here. Good to see you, Keith. How you doing?
Good, Diana. How you doing?
Doing real good. Good to see you. How can I help?
Well, I just checked in with you. First of all, I want to thank you.
Sure.
Your tips on streaming. I've been waiting for a Camlink and an Elgato for months. Okay, first of all, my Camlink got lost in USPS. Got lost in the mail. There's an investigation of where it is. Somebody got it. Then they were out of stock. Then I ordered something else again, and then the virus came, and so then you said, you can just stream using USB, and here's how you do it. And I was like, what? I stopped everything I was doing, and threw my M50 on there, and so I'm not using it now. I'm actually on my laptop, but it is perfect.
That's awesome. That's the biggest thing. Is like, I hate that, like people price gouging and stuff, especially, when it comes to the live streaming equipment. And then these people at Amazon warehouse, they know they mad, they at work. So they ain't getting no Cam Link today, sending that, throwing it in the bag. So I understand it's frustrating as hell, but I am super glad that, like for you, especially like if you have a Mac or even PC now with Sparkle Cam, it's just like, it's another option, at least until things, happen. You never know. I had sent off I think it was like $900 worth of camera stuff that I just had. And I'm like, I don't need any of these things. And I was sending it off to be sold. And all of a sudden, FedEx like, oh, we lost it. Oh, really? Did you now? Y'all better find it. And so it's like, do you have a list? I'm like, I have an itemized list. I have pictures. I have the serial number. And I put this list inside the box. Do not play with me. I will be at your warehouse this afternoon out here in these streets. So I understand it could be super frustrating. But let's hop into your, what you got. Oh, go ahead.
So first of all, you got me all fired up.
Okay.
Because I'm getting ready to do some Zooms. So Improv is now gone online, and usually you go to an Improv class, you got to be in person. And I've been trying to do this online, but now that the world's online on Zoom, everyone's coming right to me. So I bought a few books on teaching improv, and let me show you some of these. Right, so I got the Improviser's Way. I'm gonna do some reviews on these. And where is it? Improv Inside and Out, and the handbook, and just a lot. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the point is, you can take a lot of these concepts and you can translate them to online. And I'll be teaching some free classes on the show this weekend. So the streaming piece of it was important for me, and even making the content and going live. I spent a lot of investment in learning. Learning depth of field, learning lenses again, right from the Entree Woman. So, that it's been pretty exciting. So I just want to say thank you, Diana. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I know I got a chance to meet you in Las Vegas. So that improv stuff is no joke. It literally, because you have to be able to competently have your thoughts flow in the way that you would want them to, hopefully, at a moment's notice, not knowing what the hell is coming next. So it's no joke. So I think any content that you produce and share around that, it's really with a different word. It's the same thing as presenting, and presenting same thing as teaching, and teaching being the same thing as basically showing up and being able to share what it is that you have to share in a way that your audience understands without any notes, but not being afraid to show up and be you. So I think it's extremely vital. So many people need that right now.
Yeah, I think I agree. In teaching, and improv is the art of going without a script, right? So right now you're in a time where leaders have to pivot. So leadership, we're going to apply how to, improv again is listening to the last thing your partner said and just throwing away all your thoughts, right? Not that you have an aimless plan, but you're flexible. When your team has to participate in a meeting and you already have the answer, it's better if you listen, let them all participate, and then you can contemplate what they said and add that to your solution. If you just come in barking orders, they're not going to give you their opinion, and they're not going to be invested. So improv allows you to teach us things, and we take lessons learned from improv. There's simple things that you think, listening and reacting and emotions, people, and telling story, right? We know that being on stages is the key is using story. And when you're doing improv, you can have some fun exercises, and we could make anything up. Anything can be true. Diana, I can say we're on the moon right now.
We are.
And so the question becomes, if that's true, then what else is true? And that's all you have to ask yourself. We're on the moon. Okay, so what else is true? And then boom, you have fun with it. You can say, hey, I've got extra canisters of oxygen but it's only going to cost you $100 a piece. And then you're like, wait a minute, what?
Cheaper than the Cam link.
Right, you're telling me oxygen on the moon? That's right. Hey, I'm into commerce. And then you can just go on into things. It's just, you can just go down a path, and that's what's fun. And you can take these boring Zoom meetings and you can really spice them up. Just one more thing. SNL did a thing this weekend. They did SNL at home.
Saturday Night Live for those that are maybe in other countries that don't know. So go ahead, Keith.
Yes. So on the U.S. show Saturday Night Live, and they did a parody of a Zoom meeting, and they had one lady taking the laptop into the bathroom with her, and they were like, whoa, don't do that. And it was funny. And they were like, hey, am I doing this right? It was so funny because it was so true. And I had my entire family on a Family Faces call, their first time using Zoom.
Yeah.
So we spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get the gallery view, just to get everybody on the screen. And we only had 40 minutes, right? Because we used the free version.
Yeah, limited. Golly.
So that's the kind of fun I've been having, at home.
Yeah, and it's like the thing that I think that was like one of the pro tips that you mentioned, and just pro and power tips, so to speak, is that it's really about communication. It's funny that, not like funny haha, but it's interesting that in a world where we have so much access and so much ability to communicate, we're less good at actually properly communicating. Right. It's harder to do, because we have these digital interfaces that just kind of like make it seem, but in person or like live streaming like this is the closest we can get person to person right now. It's just like trying to do those things that still give off that same way. That's what I was saying. Like live streaming is so gold right now. And just like, even with video, it even supersedes like recorded videos, because if I only do recorded videos, you never see me live, you assume a level of perfection that isn't true. Whereas if I'm actually live and you see me do something, or it's just like, oh crap, what is that called? Those human-like and human principles and just those natural characteristics of being yourself come out, or your goofiness or whatever. Whereas I wouldn't do that maybe necessarily in a video, or I wouldn't do that, whatever. So these Zoom calls, and like I said, adding in some of those improvisation skills, translating into communication skills is going to be huge, I think, for any and everybody.
Yeah. So my next video I'm working on is top 10 the top 10 tips for online improv, and it helps with meetings as well. So to prevent everyone from talking over each other, you may have a hand signal that says, stop, timeouts, or scene, or whatever. And let me show you. Let me see if I can show you this. Hold on. I'm going to share this. Let's see if it works.
You should be able to. And then real quick, Keith, while you're doing that, somebody's asking, or Toothfix, Chris from Toothfix asking, what's your channel?
Oh, my channel is Better with Improv on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Which is interesting. Let me see if I can share this. Share screen. Is it sharing? Let's see. Share.
You may have to. I know to do, if it's your first time doing it, you may need to like activate certain permissions or what have you. But it is showing like the screen. So let's go there.
So let me get off of this. There we go. So this is going to be a free download that comes at the end of the video. Just basically at the end of the video, we have the description and link, and it's basically 10 tips. And you Zoom, check in, do tech at the start. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote this, how to use the camera. Even when you're doing scenes, let me stop that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we're doing scenes, you may have your teams turn off their cameras on Zoom so that the people on stage are focused and everyone else can see, but they're kind of like no longer a distraction. You can see the conversation. And with Zoom pictures, the photos move around. So it's a lot of fun. I'm doing a live improv show this weekend for Queen City Comedy, and we're doing a free level one next week. Dr. K is coming to that one.
Hey, Dr. K is the man.
Yeah. So that's it. Just I'm telling you, I was kind of stuck waiting for this Cam link to come since since Halloween. Yeah. And now I feel like I'm liberated. I feel like I'm ready to go. Hey,
man, you ready to rock and roll. Keith, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming on. Do you have any quick questions before I let you go? I wanted to make sure I hop in the chat. You got some other
No,
Folks asking questions.
I think
Okay.
no, I think I'm good. I'm paying attention to everything you're doing. I think your morning. I could go on, Diana. You know, you're just killing it, and I appreciate you. That's all.
Awesome. Well, Keith, you are the man. Everybody check out Keith's channel, Better with Improv. Thanks so much for being here, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care.
See you.
Oops, sorry. I got to work on the timing on that. So we got Henry. What's going on, Henry? Everybody that says hello in the chat, I see you. I see you, and I will be coming to your question. Let me zoom back up. Let me say hello real quick, and then, Henry, I'll come back to you. So we have Mike saying, can't you record and send music through Ecamm? You absolutely can. It's called sound effects. And so that's how you'll hear sometimes on my live stream if I'm playing music. I'll just create like a little live stream playlist and let that ride in the background. And, you know, first of all, you got to make sure we ain't got chapped lips because that's illegal. All right. So we can't be at home all day and have chapped lips. Okay. So it said, can you record and send music through Ecamm? Yes, you can. Again, that's sound effects. It works just fine. And you can adjust those audio levels, and it doesn't matter. Like it'd be MP3, probably like .wav files or whatever, but it works out really well to do that, even like actual legit sound effects versus just music, and it will play the whole track. So it's pretty cool. And that's for recording and for going live stream. Wembui made it saying, hello, Wembui. Good to see you. Tootie speaks. Good to see you, Tootie. Glad that you are here. How you doing? Evelyn's Lifestyle says hi again. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so this is where my live streams get messed up. Trying to pronounce people's names, and I assure you I do know English. It's just some variations and combinations on names. I can't seem to figure it out. However, Mafa, I will say, said, hi, sorry, what do you use for streaming? I personally use Ecamm Live 99% of the time. If I'm doing something like this where I do want to bring on guests, because it's right now easier with StreamYard, and it's more flexibility for somebody to join on their phone or join on the computer, and literally just with a link, it works better that way. Then I can actually use StreamYard, and it works. That's why I said if you want to actually hop on and join the stream, you can go to Diana.link /join, and you can hop on just like Keith did, just like Robbie did earlier, and, you know, get your questions answered in person or come and say hello. So let's see here. Henry, what's up, Henry? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying great job and proud of all that you do. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I've been using Ecamm for going live on Facebook and the virtual camera and Zoom. Powerhouse, crushing it. But it has resulted in choppy video. Should I just Ecamm and Facebook and Zoom separately and get a more powerful Mac or other options? So that's a great question, because when it comes to your computer's hardware, Ecamm is running off your computer, like Skype is running off your computer and all of those things. The requirements really to run Ecamm is not that high, because again, as you guys know, I use super old Mac, but you do want to know where things are bottlenecking. I never do streams and stuff and have Final Cut Pro 10 running in the background or a bunch of stuff on my hard drive. You still need to maintain your computer and its RAM efficiency, or that random access memory. If you're on a Mac, which since you're using Ecamm Live, you are, what I would do is when you're running those things, we first need to identify where are things bottlenecking, meaning where are we hitting the ceiling at? Start that activity manager, and you just literally type in your search on your computer, and it'll pull up the activity manager, and go and look through those different tabs when you have everything going, when you notice it is starting to get choppy, and see where are things bottlenecking. If you only have 8 gigabytes of RAM and you're at 7, 6.5 for the RAM, you're maxing the RAM. You don't have enough RAM for everything that you're trying to do. If you're trying to do both Ecamm and Zoom and stuff like that, I've not had an issue. But at the same time, again, like, do you also have like 72 tabs on Chrome going as well? Because Chrome is a resource hog also. So again, it's just like, look at what's happening. It's really hard to say what's affecting the feed at that point, But at some point, when you start seeing like issues with choppiness, but you are hooked up via Ethernet for your internet to get the fastest speeds and like extreme dependability and reliability out of it. If you're doing those things, check and see that way what's happening there. So I got a question here. Let me see here. And this is coming from Robbie that was on earlier. And I'm going to throw this in the chat so y'all can see it. And then we can bring that up and then I'll come to it. So Canon people do not buy an HDMI versus USB because Sony people can't get them now because they out of stock. So we got some Canon versus Sony wars going on. So let's see here. So Explore Inform saying free version of StreamYard requires their logo, no custom backgrounds or overlays allowed, etc. So that's true. And that's true with any free software. It's even Ecamm Live. If you're live streaming and you're doing that, then they don't allow it to be there without the branding. Otherwise, you essentially have a paid account. And so they do have to kind of, I guess, critique those levels and things like that to see what's what. But at the same time, it's like for what you're getting is if it's enough to get you going or see if that's what you want to use, then, you can see about that. Also, they have like, if you're referring people, just like I said, if you go to, and I'll kick it back up here again, it's like go to Diana.link /StreamYard. While you may get whatever that benefit is of joining through my referral link, at the same time, I get a benefit of like, what is it? Like a free month service of the pro account or something like that. So you can do the same thing. So even if you only have a couple people, then you're getting that pro account for free, but you're also referring people. So look into, and that's for anybody, look into what the referral programs and features are and check that out and see if there's something that you can do to kind of, help cover the cost for what you're trying to do. So we have Evelyn. You're saying Ms. Wambui referred me to your channel. Well, thank you. Welcome, both of you. I appreciate you, Wambui. You the truth. I need to catch up on your videos. I use StreamYard to live stream, but looking to use something better. I use a PC. So I can see myself getting choppy now. So shame on you, StreamYard. But it happens. So what does better mean? What are you trying to do? If it's quality and you're saying like, oh, I don't like it being at, because the max resolution is 720p, which is just a like extreme baseline HD video, and you're trying to do something more like, where are you talking about better quality? Do you mean more features, or do you mean like better video capabilities? What exactly does that mean? And then that way I can kind of help. She's saying she uses a Logitech. She said it's good to know about the audio. So to piggyback on the last thing, if you're using a Logitech web camera, then this thing's slowing down. See, y'all, this is why me and StreamYard have relationship issues. So if you're using a Logitech web camera, okay, is the quality thing a limitation of the actual web camera? Do you need more lights? Do we need to adjust where things are? One of the common issues I see for people that use web cameras is they're sitting and all of the light, like a window that's open or even it's like a super bright day, is behind you. So you look terrible, but the window is, clear. So it's like we still have to abide by the video rules and things like that for best quality options when we're talking about doing that. So Dean Reynolds Media, good to see you. Say, Diana, I'm watching you live. Wow. Dean, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. So Wambui said, Diana, you have talked about the M50 so much. I feel like I already owned one. I now have an older one. I have a Canon 70D, but need a second camera for overhead demos, or at least is the excuse that I am using. Well, Wambui, I am the queen of excuses when it comes to buying camera equipment because it doesn't take much for me to want another camera. And so it depends on your needs. I would say don't buy an M50 just for an overhead video camera, because there are cheaper ones out there if that's all that it's going to do. you're probably at that point manually focusing, so that if you're doing like crafts or if I'm showing my keyboard or something and it's a top down looking shot, I only need a screen at that point to flip up and to see me at that point, and the rest, like the lens is pointing down, then I'm probably manually focusing on that painting, on that fabric, on that thing, so that it doesn't autofocus on the back of my knuckle on my hand and it's just like all you see is knuckle the whole video. So if that's the case, there are cheaper Canon cameras out there that will still work for you. You have the Canon M6, which is one of my all-time favorite cameras, honestly, because it still has dual pixel autofocus. You can get 1080p, 60 frames per second. You can, and that's as much if you're talking about slow motion, anything or whatever, but it has amazing autofocus and it's just a good HD camera. I doubt any, especially if you're talking about like M50, 70D, those aren't 4K cameras really anyway, M50, but if you got a 70D, the Canon M6 will pair up fine with that. And they're super cheap, extremely cheap. So I would say look into one of those. Dr. Roxanne, I'm so glad I had my cam links for a year now. Yeah, me too. You never know. It's hard out here in these streets. Said, you're amazing. Thank you so much, Ramona Temple. Glad that you're here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Said, I teach fitness dance classes. Said, I teach fitness classes, dance format. Will my M50 work for this? Yeah, it will actually. If you are talking about so same way in theater, when you're acting and stuff like that. And so again, because I was in a thespian society in high school, I know some of this. So you have marks for how far do you need to come before your head is now chopped off, or you are starting to chop your head off. And how far back can you go before you're too small and tiny for it to make a difference? So even if you're in your living room or your basement or something like that for the fitness video, you want to mark where you're going to be standing at. It could be just a little piece of tape or something like that so that you know the range. But because the dual pixel autofocus works really well in the Canon M50 for 1080p video, it'll be fine. It literally will hold up. I've done little silly tests with my cameras and stuff like that in office, and it works well. It works really well. So it's definitely possible. So Mike, you're saying, how can I momentarily turn my camera off on Ecamm, like go black for privacy when I'm in a meeting? At that point, regardless if you are on like Zoom, and Evelyn, I see your comment. I'm coming right back up to your premise. So it said, how can I momentarily turn my camera off? So if you need privacy for a moment, you want to think about what tool or software or something like that are you needing to use, or that you are using, that is going to give you like you need to know the settings. You need to know what you're doing. If I'm on Ecamm Live or something like that, I may create a scene or an overlay or a be right back kind of a screen that I could flip to. So if that's not the case, then you want to just turn your camera off. You know what I'm saying? That's literally it. You turn the camera feed off, and that will give you like a moment. But if you have a software or tool or something like that you're using, like I said, Ecamm Live, I'll just build in like a be right back screen. So maybe some music's playing, maybe whatever. It's a countdown timer to give me like 2.5, 3 minutes. I can create that kind of a scene up in the software, so that I have a moment to, do whatever. Sometimes things happen and you cough or whatever. You're like, oh, give me a second, hit that be right back, and you're out of there. Anybody else for anything else, Zoom or otherwise, at that point, you just want to turn your camera off or something like that. You want to kind of build into your show, even if depending on what you're doing or your training, gaps where you can create gaps of moments of rest or whatever. So a be right back screen is great if you can build one up, or if not, just turn the camera off. Let's see here. Said, I use extra lighting when I stream. Same thing though. If you're in all automatic for the Logitech web camera, it can still look like trash. If I plug mine in right now, it probably will look like trash because I'm overdoing it with the light. And as soon as I plug in, it's in fully automatic. You never want to judge something for quality if all of your settings are in automatic, because you're not giving the camera the opportunity to do as best as it possibly could. so that we can begin to figure out where the limitations are. Web cameras have a really small sensor, if not smaller than what our phones have or had at some point. Then it's like, okay, how can I work best within this camera's limitations? So if you have good lighting, that's perfect. You still want to make sure you're within that certain amount of lighting that's not overdoing it. Adjust, they have the camera settings app or something like that for Logitech web cameras. Go in there, adjust the white balance, adjust the color shift if it's too pink or it's too green or whatever. You got to look at your image, critique that image, figure out what's happening in it. Is it too bright? If you start seeing, instead of just seeing a little bit of light right here on my cheek, if it gets like super blown out, like super white, you don't even know what this part of my face is, the lights is too bright or the settings are too off. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so that's the one thing, especially when it comes to cheaper cameras, you really got to understand that camera's limitations so that you can begin to work around it to produce the best image possible. Dr. Roxanne reminds me so much, saying, I remind you so much of your late cousin. Oh, I'm sorry to hear they passed. I'm catching feels because Gracie was a beautiful soul and Miss D looks and sounds like her amazing. Oh, that warms my heart. I'm glad you're having a good, warm memory in her honor. So that's awesome. Said Revolutionary Mary saying, use your smartphone for overhead or just buy a boom stand. That's true. I literally over here, I have a second. These scissor arms only cost $12 on Amazon, but I have my phone literally on just a little mic boom stand, and I'm about to knock my books over on my desk. But that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? If I'm trying to do something, I keep my phone right here. I can tilt it down. I put a little, this also is a cheap ball head. So yeah. Angle it down. My phone is about to fall now. But at the same time, it gives me more flexibility to do whatever. And it costs $12. So great recommendation there, Revolutionary Man. So Mike, you saying, how can I, oh, I already answered that one. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. Said it was SpongeBob a few moments later. Not sure what that means. All right. So Evelyn, you're saying thank you. My pleasure. Glad that I can be of assistance for you. And yes, I'm a country girl. I drink out of mason jars. In addition to glasses when I'm trying to be bougie. So Doc Roxanne, Google a Mac application called Webcam Settings. It allows DSLR style adjustments for webcams. Interesting. Did not know that. So we can all look up a Mac application called Webcam Settings. That's good to know because that's the biggest frustration with web cameras is getting it to look right. And I have a video. Now, again, my camera skills at that time was not, it was as best as it was at the moment. It was like 2.5 years ago. But, you know, you add adequate lighting to a camera, adjust those settings. I get people that say my M50 looks nothing like your M50. I'm using the same lens that you're using. I'm using a speed booster too. I'm using the same microphone. Stuff is not looking right. Your settings matter. And so if you have, like a lot of people, they get that camera settings guide for the Canon M50 that I have that's a free downloadable. And they're trying to figure out, well, what are your camera settings? What are you doing? And it's just like for my room. And I also recorded the other day, another how to in the real world series video. It's just like how I get the looks that I want. So like that behind me is blurry and you got the little light, like I could change the light to a different color and you can start to see that change and shift a little bit to different colors and things like that. But I'm clear. You can see me clearly. That's based on the lens. It has nothing to do with the camera. It's literally based on the lens. The colored lights back there is just an extra added effect, an extra added bonus kind of a thing, but it doesn't really matter all that much. But to get the overall aesthetic, I have to take an account for the room that I'm in, for the lights that I have, and the capabilities and even limitations of those lights. What do I want to use for right now, this time of day? And because it's raining outside, it's gloomy. It's an overcast day. The lighting I would do if I was live streaming even a few hours from now I would completely change the settings because the lighting is different. So I want to start off with my environment, like 30 frames per second. Okay, you need to be shutter speed 1/60. Basic camera rules still apply. But even if it was a webcam, none of that stuff is available numbers wise and all that. But I'm looking at the image. What's too bright? What's too dark? Where is light coming from? The biggest helpful thing that I would say for anybody, you're trying to get a better look, a better aesthetic, and a quality for your videos, is look at what's happening on the image. Turn all the lights off. If I literally started clicking these lights off now, I cut my side light off and I cut my light off to begin with. The light now coming from the window, I still have the ceiling light on, again, because of the time of day, and I don't have a switch for that. But you can kind of see where the light, though, is coming from over here. So I want to know, what is the light doing before I add more? So now once I add on the light in front of me, it's like, okay, that looks fairly good. No big deal. I don't need to do much more than that if you don't want to. But if I add the other light, now we can see what this actual light is doing. It's adding some additional light to my side. Now, that's just going to give it a nice brighter look. If I wanted it slightly more dramatic, I could turn that light off. But the settings on the camera haven't changed. I'm literally adjusting the lighting to give me a different look. Now it looks kind of grungy, like I'm in a basement and, you know, I missed dinner. So the lighting is going to be the biggest thing when it comes to figuring out what you're actually doing. So I got a question about Yellow Duck. So Robbie was asking, is Yellow Duck and Lula TV? I think I added this in the chat. I'm pretty sure I did. So let me see if I can find it. And then I can pop my, yeah, here we go. So Robbie was asking this, for Yellow Duck and Lula TV, are they those platforms against Instagram's terms of service? And when it comes to software bringing like PC streaming to Instagram? So this is an amazing question. So thank you, Robbie, for that. So when it comes to these, and I recently learned this from David and Loria of Live Streaming Pros. So if you haven't checked their channel out, they're amazing content creators, love what they're doing. And they are honestly, when it comes to like anything live streaming and you're trying to get like run an event, you know what I'm saying, have top of the line, incredible quality for certain things that you're doing, 7 camera setups and the whole, now you got 10 grand to spend, you know what I'm saying, they can help you. But then too, they also have some basic stuff, but they're amazing. David looked into this recently because we were having this conversation in a group. And so here's the deal. It is not recommended to do it. And that doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying, like it's illegal, but here's what they don't want. And here's what is at risk. What they don't want you to do is for me to take this feed and also share it to Instagram or like be piping it through. I've tested Lula TV. I haven't looked into Yellow Duck because they're too new. It's not enough of anything to show me and prove that like they're safe to use. So I don't know. But when it comes to Lula.tv, I have done this and I've done it with the Canon M50 even. And so what happens is Instagram only wants about as much information that you're going to get out of your phone. So your phone has a certain amount of data it's pumping out to produce instantaneous pop-offs that's happening on the thing. But I knew that wasn't as secure on there. But anyway, you have a certain amount of data that's coming through here when you're going live on your phone on Instagram. But if you do this through the computer, oh, my computer's doing way more. I'm pumping in 1080p, 30 frames per second. I'm doing all this extra stuff. That's way more information than what my phone would do and the best data plan possible. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for them to see that. That's what sends the red flag. Yes, the terms and conditions are ambiguous to say, but here's what's at risk. They find out that you're doing that and they delete your account and they delete your profile or they block you from going live or stories perhaps or whatever. So that kind of stuff does happen where they will get rid of somebody, but at the same time, is it worth it? I don't think so. I just think that it's best to just deal with it right now. It's like, and then too, it changes the interface. Facebook was cool when we were in high school and our teachers didn't know, and we would create groups, not because we were trying to build brands, but because we were talking about our teachers. Okay. We had Jonan sessions where we talked about everybody. It's like, it's like, that's what we did. And so, and this, like, then you see ads come, and then you see this come, and then it starts to change the interface. And now Facebook is the powerhouse that it is, but Instagram doesn't want that. Yeah, you get ads, you can build your business, have different things. They want to keep it personal. And then that level of produced content now changes. What if stories was all produced video? It became like a YouTube. What's YouTube for then? Or why do the same thing? They don't want that. They know it's a certain amount of value in having digital real estate that only can be done from a phone. Push creativities to only do it that way. So in addition to that, then you also have other issues, like I said, from the terms of service. So I would say yes, even though it's kind of ambiguous, it's not extremely clear, it's also not worth it. I've looked into it, I've done it, but at the same time, it is not worth it. So let's see here. So Timo, I am not even going to try to butcher your last. Like I said, some stuff, it just don't, I can't, for names, I apologize sincerely. So Timo, let me know if I'm pronouncing that right, because I just started following you. Great content. Well, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate that. Truly, I'm glad that you're here. Okay, I saw that. Okay, let me scroll down. I'm so behind. I apologize. All right. Jack saying, watching you too, brother. No, thanks for being here. So said Doc Proctor saying, I'm doing a live stream on how to make a bootable Mac OS external with minimal apps installed to get best streaming experience. May the Lord bless you and keep you always. May his light shine. I am not the build from scratch kind of girl. I want systems, because when I got a headache and I don't feel like it, I just need life to happen. And that's the only thing. Like, I had several people like, man, don't buy a Mac. We will build you a PC. And I'm like, I don't want it, because when a component goes awry, I don't want to have to figure that. If I had a nerdy self that like somebody else could take care of me, and I literally would spend all my time tweaking and adjusting and playing, I may have fun with that. But I don't like that kind of stuff. Not speaking against it at all. I love the ingenuity and I watch custom builds all the time. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, I don't want to deal with that, because when something goes awry, ain't nobody got time for that out here in these streets. Kyle, I see you. I'm bringing in just a moment. Good to see you in the background chat. So we got a couple more questions here to respond to. So Evelyn saying, if I want to stream with my Canon T6i, how do I do that? And I'm a PC user. Well, first of all, go to Mac, get Ecamm. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm a PC usually seriously thinking about getting. See the Lord. I'm just kidding. Gotta be careful when you're throwing the Lord in there, eh? But no, it is something. I'm telling y'all, I've never been like an Apple fangirl. And I was like PC, Android. I thought the first, iPods were stupid. I'm like, nobody go around in a circle. I'm like, we were creatives in micro, straight up and down. None of that, but that's why I switched to Ecamm Live and Final Cut Pro 10. I thought I would only do it that way. And just like, I'm just going to edit and I'll just stream using a Mac. Once I got in and integrate, and I'm like, everything is so much more efficient on this side of things than with the PC. I have 3 PCs that are like dead, and I gave like one away that was still working, but I have like, these are brand new, more than what my Mac ever costed. And it's just like spent a few $1,000s buying PCs that should hold. It's been so much work, so much, worth it and things like that. But if you have a video on the topic, please let me know. I'll check it out. I do have a video that was a part of like the Canon M50 series. I don't even remember what's in that video. I do remember I talked about PC versus Mac, but present day today, if you're trying to do it with a Canon T6i, you can look at Sparkle Cam that I talked about in, I don't know, you can just Google it, honestly, because I don't even remember the last video I talked about it in, but try Sparkle Cam. and see what you want to do. I think live streaming with the USB was the video. It should be like the third latest video I did on the channel. And that will share with you how to install it and use it. But check out Sparkle Cam before you just invest into a Mac to see if it's actually worth it for you. But for me, it's been one of the best decisions, proficiency wise, business wise. It's just been worth it. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Kyle, you ready? Oh, he ain't ready. All right. All right. So, okay. So let me know when you're ready, Kyle. You can throw it in the private chat in the background and I will see that alert saying, thank you so much. My pleasure. So Explore Inform saying, I just bought a PC after using Macs for 8 to 9 years. Did my first live stream recently with Sparkle Cam to StreamYard. First of all, unsubscribe because we only use Macs here. No, just kidding. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's honestly whatever works for you, whatever honestly gets the job done. We want to be doing the thing that gets us to the fastest level of success. So it's like, and to be honest with you, I have to apologize because to my community, my biggest grin on my header on my channel, it says video simplified, like for busy entrepreneurs. Video simplified does not mean for everybody Ecamm Live. And I literally had this conversation with my one of my coaching clients. I think it was this week we had a coaching session. And she was telling me, she's like, yeah, I looked at Ecamm Live. I can't deal with it. It's like, no, it's fine. It's great. Let me show you. And just like, no, I need something simple. And I'm like, well, I guess you can use StreamYard, I guess. And so I went and showed her behind the scenes and what it looks like. And she's like, that looks amazing. I could do this now, whatever. And that honestly is the difference between, preference and performance. Because my preference may be, especially my 9 to 5 now, my everything is doing video production. So I'm looking at the quality. Because she legit asked me, it's like, so why aren't you talking about this on the channel? I'm like, because I want to see 1080p stream. I want more stability. I want, hashtag all these things. And she's like, but I would never do all that. And she is somebody that is my ideal audience member, my target audience, which is why she's a client of mine. And so it's just like for the right person, you can go this other route. You don't have to. StreamYard, have y'all been enjoying the stream? Has this been entertaining for you? So do it really matter what streaming software, or is it more than that? So same thing, like when I post that USB to HDMI, and like I had to have like a fact check, and I like I said, I sincerely apologize to y'all because I should have done this a long time ago. And it's just like my frustrations with StreamYard. And I'm like, no, it's got to be this. And even doing some beta testing for him, I'm like, no, it's like, y'all got to fix this. And this has to be wrong. The biggest thing that I wanted to see fixed has been fixed, which is a delay between the video and the audio. So it's like if I'm talking 30 seconds later, here comes my mouth and the audio. It's just like, that don't make sense. So somewhere along the lines that's got fixed, I can only hope things can only go up from here. Right. So especially with the world being focused on live streaming, but StreamYard, PC, whatever you got, it's viable sources that you can use. It just whatever gets the job done. So, Kyle, you are ready. Welcome to the stream. How you doing, brother? Oh, you are muted. Okay, you got to unmute your microphone. There you go.
Well, that would help, right?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Doing real good. How you?
Good. I am a big fan, of course, but you have really helped me as well as my son because we both have M50s, and we love to stream. And as well, my employer here, Sports Illustrated, they like streaming as well. But I had a question, and one of the major concerns is that we were using like Zoom, using live webinar as well.
Okay.
And we're getting a lot of delays in, say, the speech patterns, and everything is not syncing. Okay. We use Skype as well. Now, StreamYard, I knew about, but I did not use before. And I have Sparkle Cam, as you suggested.
Okay.
But Sparkle Cam through the M50 was giving us that delay via the USB.
Mm-hmm.
And no one can get an Elgato, right? So unless you want to pay $300 or $400. Should we look at the StreamYard? Is that what you're recommending at this time?
That's what I'm using right now. And so one of the benefits of StreamYard, because again, we have to look at the tools that we have and what the limitations are. And again, what is happening. So now we're getting an audio delay of all the tools that we talked about, everything that we have on the table, getting audio delay. Stuff is not right. Okay. So now the first thing I always look at, are we doing Wi-Fi or are we doing Ethernet? If we are doing Ethernet, then it's just like, okay, dependability, reliability should be there. Now let's look at the audio sources. Some microphones can produce a delay at times. So is it the microphone? Is there a latency issue that we need to account for? If not, we're using USB or something like we talked earlier about on the channel or on this stream about audio interfaces, the Behringer ones not having any latency. Okay, check, that's fine. The next thing now is like, yes, is it the software? So if it's the software, which can be kind of hard to judge if we're experiencing all these things at once. If it is software, switch software and see what happens. StreamYard is easy and it's really good to use because it's not based on my computer's internal systems. It is a web-based thing, but also several times throughout the stream today, it's been a little choppy. I'll notice it out the corner of my eye. Like I'll move forward and then a second later I'll move forward. It gets a little stuck. But again, that's just part of the thing of doing, live or whatever. That's what I would say. Try it. See if it will work for you because you can do a free trial and all that. Give it a go. If it produces the results that you want, but it also gives you the quality that you need, then try it. Otherwise, we need to look at more probably expensive options that will increase not just the dependability and reliability of the stream, but it also still maintains, the quality. But again, it's like these are more budget-friendly options, solopreneur, content creator options, things like that. Do we now need to shift because the software and what we have and what we need to do, especially for how much are you trying to pump through it? Some of this stuff is limited. It's not built for all of that. So we may need to look at a vMix kind of a setup that we can legit run a whole event off of, but it also has the capabilities to do all the things that we need to. So audio latency, it can literally come from anywhere, but I would start like Ethernet, audio microphones and stuff like that. And then now let's look at software because we got to go through the chain of events and see, okay, where is the break happening? Where's the problem happening? If you just literally try StreamYard and it's fixed, then you know.
Okay. Now you talked about vMix. Now I'm still a novice. What is vMix? Break it down to me like a 40-year-old.
Okay. So I take insult to that. I'll be 32 this year. Okay.
Well, look, I got 20 years on you, so you're good.
Nobody, we all in quarantine. Everybody look the same right about now. Nobody. So, vMix is a professional live streaming software where it will allow you to run off your computer like you'll hear me constantly talk about Ecamm Live, but its reliability, dependability, and functionality is superb. However, you must make sure that your computer has the requirements that it needs to operate that. So it's just a legit pro live streaming software that you can run on your computer. You just need to make sure your computer can handle it. But it literally is a professional setup. So whether you're at the ESPN broadcast station or you bring that home, it will work for you.
So we're looking at around how much?
I have no idea. So, so because the prices shift.
That doesn't help, Diane. I'm sorry. You need to tell me. Hold on. You don't know, but you recommend it.
I do. Okay, highly recommend it.
All right.
We can pull up vMix because I know other people are probably asking right now.
She gonna say vMix, and she ain't gonna tell us how much it is.
We gonna see. Let's see here. So let's go to Chrome tab, vMix. All right, so everybody should. Okay, good. So everybody should be able to see the vMix. So this is vMix. vMix lets you do live streaming, and like if you look right here, this is like hell, like but a super in-depth, like just on this little screen demo, but that's just showing you what it can do. So don't get overwhelmed by this. If you go over to for streaming, it can do streaming. Go to YouTube, it can do training. It literally like it is superb when it comes to that. Now everybody love to hide these prices feature. Let's and they're like, oh no, we can do all this. Like, yeah, how much? Purchase, buy software. So let's see. Purchase vMix software. It should be. All right. So if we do set 4 inputs, $60 if we're just doing one of these basic HD, I guess. I guess we had to do a comparison table. First of all, y'all website look like trash with this outdatedness. So let's go here. I hate old websites. It's just like, this is $30.92. Get you an update. And you want people to pay $1 bajillion. It's just like, we use 1922 technology. So basic HD, that's going to give us traditional 1920 by 1080p video footage, which you would see for a regular full HD video on YouTube. That's where basic HD. So we're looking at $60. Not bad. And so these are the things that that you can get for it. When you start looking into, like, again, vMix call, multi-quarter and all this other stuff, you need to see what all do you need so that you know if this is enough for you. If not, $60, you're good to go. If you need more, first of all, this right here, like, just skip SD. That's like a Nokia phone when it first got video. We're not doing that. So when you start to look into more, and you're looking at, it's saying like overlay channels, getting more flexibility, less bottleneck, then you're looking at $350, $700. This is not like a monthly fee. I don't think it is. I think it's like a one-time deal. But
so when you talk about the overlays, are you talking about like the moving graphics and things to that nature that you can put onto your video while you're streaming?
It's saying overlay channels. So I'm thinking that it means like probably like live feeds, like, you know how churches will do, and they got maybe like the pastor in the corner, but then the screen on this. It may be saying like you could do 4 of those feeds. But again, it's like you for real have to hop in here and try it out. I had a buddy, Joshua Verwers, he was using this. He did recently buy a Mac just so he could use Ecamm Live, because price per performance, it just was cheaper to go literally get a Mac for streaming and just use Ecamm Live. So yeah, overlays and stuff like that, you'll really have to see for what you're talking about doing. Is this a problem for you? If it is, then that may be too much if you don't want to. Yeah,
well, I will go ahead and look into it, because we are having virtual drafts with hundreds of fans that will be participating. And and this is one of the major reasons why I was calling into you, to be able to get a feel. What should we use? Because what we have been using has not been as reliable as I need it to be for a professional standpoint.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. I understand completely. And again, that's why, you know what I'm saying, I legit bought a Mac to have Ecamm Live, because even like for a client before, right when coronavirus was like, okay, we got to stop traveling and all that. I was supposed to be doing an event at Spokane. I told him straight up, if you want me to run this event, we're using Ecamm Live to host this whole event, from, you know, bringing in audio, microphone for the audience, for them to come up and ask questions, to be like literally running the entire event using Ecamm, because it's possible. The stability is there. And if the only difference is me having a Mac or not having a Mac, I'd spend $1,000 on a cheap Mac and go for it, you know, because it can handle it. As long as it meets those baseline requirements, maybe a little bit more, I would go that route, because it's just worth it. So depending on budget and longevity, don't buy just enough, get a little bit more than that, so you have flexibility for growth. But I would say take into account what your budget is, What are you literally list the things of what you're trying to do. And based on that, like what fits for that? Because if you listen to me, I may be a bad recommendation for StreamYard or Ecamm or vMix if that's not what you need. You know what I'm saying? So just take that into account, and then those are the options that I would suggest.
Okay. Well, look, I really do appreciate it, and I will be back the next time you have another broadcast, and I may pick your brain on a couple of other items, but thank you so much. You've really been a great resource and a great help.
Oh, my pleasure. Kyle, you are welcome here anytime, sir.
Okay. Take care.
Take care. All right, y'all. So let's see here. Let me scroll back up. These comments is no joke. Hold on. Somebody said something. We got a problem. Oh, we got a problem in the chat today. Okay. Miss Breton's classroom. What's the deal? Why are you talking about me? So why do podcasters wear headphones when creating content? But when I'm in a Zoom meeting with 10 people, no one has headphones on. I do it so I could hear the people that are coming in. If I'm doing a video and I notice that I still left my headphones in, I can't hear nobody. I can't even hear me. So, and I'm not monitoring the audio. But if it is like, for example, a stream where I will feed the audio back in because I want to check the levels, that's why. Because especially like, so a lot of people don't know I used to play the alto saxophone. I went to college on a full ride band scholarship. So musically, it's like I understand different components. That's why I talk about audio exhaustion when it's whether it's like audio underneath the video or something like that, because there are certain tones. And even if you know nothing about music, you know certain songs, listen to that. Let it ride for about 2-3 minutes. It is annoying as hell at that point to let it keep going. It's frustrating. And it's just like, man, that is otherwise listening to it in the car, it may sound better, but just in headphones and ears for nonstop, it gets annoying. So I want to know, is that track playing too long? Let me switch tracks because I'm getting exhausted hearing it. So sometimes I'm monitoring the audio and stuff like that, but podcasters are aware because our ears are sensitive. And so we know we're producing a show for people. So they may be monitoring themselves, but in a Zoom call, like Keith said, they nose all up here. They got it way down here. And it's just like they dropping chicken on the camera. It's ridiculous. So, so Miss Burton Classroom, thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. So everybody that's on Zoom, tell your people. You can also do like send an email out or text out ahead of time and give them the rules. Do a quick video. So when I used to help my church learn video and stuff like that, and we needed to do some group calls, what I would do is a quick video tutorial. That video may be 3 minutes, if that. So I'm showing them a behind the scenes. So guys, this is what's going to happen when you join a Zoom call. Have the headphones on. Don't come on here without no headphones. We will kick you not off the stream, off the church. You ain't coming back. Ain't coming back. So show them what to do. If you educate them, they now no longer have an excuse. Well, I don't know how to use it. I can't figure it out. But stick shift, put makeup on, and just the whole nine, and eat chicken on the highway at 1,000 miles per hour. So it's possible, for sure. So Explore Inform said, I may try Streamlabs, which if you're not familiar, you're talking about Streamlabs OBS. But from my initial clicking around, it is complex because of a ton of features. StreamYard is simple, at least. And that's the biggest thing, too. And Art of Nature Photography, I see in there. So I'm going to come and pull that comment up in just a second. So Streamlabs OBS, it's still that open broadcast software, which is that free one that you'll see people talk about on YouTube. Is just in a better format that still makes it a little bit easier. And that's honestly still why, though, same thing that you're talking about, that's why I don't use it, because it's not simple like that. You got to create all of this stuff. It's easy for things to break and harder for you to fix it. And I mean break like, oh, why is that doing that? Or why is this? Anybody got time for that? Legit, nobody has time for that. It becomes, again, more of a frustration, because now as things continue to go wrong, the more frustrating things become, the less that you are to continue doing it. So we have to remove our excuses. Do not get a software if it's free, if it's more than what you can deal with. So that's where, the difference in price per performance is really going to matter. So that's the same thing I said. I'm not using Streamlabs OBS, even though it's free and even though it's great. And you see people do a lot of cool things with it. I am not one of them. So Art of Nature, good to see you. Glad you're here. You saying, and real quick, hit the like button, heart button, share button, somewhere there about with somebody. Tag a friend who needs to do live streaming. And very quickly, self promo, real quick. I am doing a talk with Ecamm Live where this by far is the best training I have ever done in my life. And that is just no joke. I am doing a talk with Ecamm Live. I'm speaking at their live streaming summit. And first of all, I'm super grateful. Like, y'all have no idea. And so I was invited to speak there, and it's going to be on April 30th. And I did this session. It is a deep dive training into 3 live streaming secrets for faster YouTube channel growth. I promise y'all are not going to, you just don't want to miss that. I promise you. So you can go to Diana.link /leap for more details on that. So Diana.link /leap. You can register for my session. I am freaking baffled and blown away. 1,300 people so far have signed up for this session, and I have not hardly talked about it yet. So Diana.link /leap to check that out. Now, let's see here. Comments. So, Art of Nature Photographer saying, have I noticed any issues with the laggy HDMI? No, I haven't. Again, lag, I'm usually looking at what's happening. Where is the bottleneck happening at? Is it something's overheating? Is something, am I running out of memory on my computer and it's having a harder time processing information? So it's, especially like via HDMI, we got to think that Camlink is also putting in work as well. Is your computer sufficient enough for what it's asking you to do? Because there are people that have bought that, and then it's just like, well, did you check and see if your specifications match up for what Elgato says that you need, or any of these other companies? And it's like, oh crap, I don't have enough of I don't meet the base requirements. So that could be an issue, and it's working, but it's not working well. So it's a lot of things with lag. I always say, number one, make sure you're connecting via Ethernet for live streaming or anything like that, because if you do Wi-Fi, it sucks and it's shoddy, and it gets weird. But start going through and looking at what's happening. Do a test live stream, so maybe unlisted or private. If you're on a Mac or something like that, open up the activity monitor and see what's happening. Where is it maxing out at? And then that'll let you know, oh, I got 17 Chrome tabs open. I should probably close some of those. I'll start streaming, notice a lag, and it's just like, crap, I left Final Cut Pro 10 open. So sometimes it's an easy fix, and then sometimes it may be a little bit more, but just got to see. So it's so easy to get caught up in tools and hardware. But the truth is, just start streaming and adjust as needs arrive. That is the best advice. And that's honestly why I did that USB versus HDMI video in the way that I did. Because again, my thing is helping you simplify the video creation process so that you can reach wider and connect deeper with the people that need you the most. And so I truly believe whatever it is and to why you want to stream, why you want to do video, you know what I'm saying? Why you want to show up publicly in this way on video is more than the tech. So that's why I said it's a super huge disservice to the people that zoom in 400%. And it's just like, oh yeah, it's just like, go sit your behind. You a kid that didn't get no daggone whoopings, ain't you? You know, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you didn't get time out as a child, did you? You didn't never get scared by a leather belt. All right, your mama, she'd go like this to touch her hair, and you like, oh, mama, don't hit me. You know, it's just like them people that zoom in 400. It's a disservice. Who are you helping by doing that? You're making them now reconsider and start the decision-making process again, trying to decide if something is right for them. You're not helping. You're not helping. Now, a photographer that is trying to critique an image because they're producing a portrait or an image to where they are trying to present that to, you know what I'm saying, some big thing, it does matter to them. So it is a service to them, but because the lines between video and photography, they blend together so much, people will look at that and look at that lens and look at that comparison and take that person's opinion for what it, and it's just like, it's not helpful. So when it comes to like live streaming, it's like most people, I'm new. I've been streaming for an hour and over an hour and a half. I'm thinking like 20, 30 minutes. Maybe not a lot of people show up since this last minute, and y'all have been blowing me away. So again, I'm genuinely thankful for all of you all for your attention and your time, because this is something that we share together and we literally can't get back. So I appreciate that so much. But it's like, so when it comes to like live streaming, showing up for video, tap into the deeper reason why you're doing this to begin with, and do 5 minutes. Do 5 minutes. Just show up for 5 minutes. And even if somebody shows up, say hello. If they start a conversation, you can choose to keep that going. Do a power tip. Like, yeah, so this is Doc Rock showing up for the DocRockShow.com. And today I'm going to give you a power tip about whatever. I would venture to say Doc Rock is not what you would put on the hospital badge. But let's say you're a medical professional and you're like, okay, guys, coronavirus is happening. Here's your pro tip. When you make a homemade mask, make sure you get a little bit more coverage beyond your chin, because what you don't want, you do want it breathable and air to escape, and so that you can continue to breathe, but you don't want it to be ineffective. So if some moisture or something like that is coming your way, to best block that, make your mask a little bit deeper so that it covers your chin. So that's the Doc Rock live stream. Thanks for coming to the show. We're moving on. 5 minutes. Somebody comes, hey, Susan, thanks for being here. Hey, Tom, thanks for being here. They ask a question. Now you can roll into that. But don't start the stream off with, just waiting. Few more people. Few more people. It's just like, get the heck out of here with your few more people. Say what you got to say. Get off the stream. And so that you maintain the integrity of the live stream, but you also honor the people that will show up for the replay. And Explore Informed saying he 100% agree. Instead, Art of Nature saying Diana's the M50 queen. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so, real quick, so those that were curious, Art of Nature just replying about the vMix one-time purchase. So, Jonathan, first of all, shout out to my brother from another mother. If y'all don't know, I am not a graduate, but I'm an alumni, because it's been long enough. Can't nobody prove it now. Okay. I'm an alumni of Alabama A&M University out of Huntsville, Alabama. And Jonathan is my brother from another mother. Good to see you, Jonathan. He is a chef, and I'm so blown away by what you're doing with your family and your business. I am so proud of you, brother. You have no idea. So glad to see it. Said, this is good as I'm trying to improve my video performance with my live cooking stream. Jonathan, your streams are amazing. He does live cooking in his kitchen, because as a chef, can't go out do the events, but he can show you how to create these masterpieces at home. And he's has a young and small family. So the fact that like his kids are eating this food, honestly, his kids are probably spoiled with good food, but that's dope. Said, I like doing live stream, but the quality sometimes feel like it's trash. I love interacting, but I need to get the quality better. So I have seen your streams and I've watched them the entire way through. So here's what I would do for you, Jonathan. I've noticed you have the light behind you, not like a little decorated light behind you, but you have literally the softbox light and all of that behind you, or the umbrella lights. That's not going to work. And there's no diffusion material between there. It could be like a sheet, like a white sheet. It could be an actual softbox something. But if you have lights, we're at home, you probably can't get equipment. Try a sheet or a piece of paper, a craft paper or something. And you want to, start controlling that light, especially in your kitchen. You have a light over here. You want to be able to, again, like I was sharing before, if I turn these lights off, like I just cut the side light off and I cut the light off in front of me, what kind of a light that I'm getting over here is similar to what's happening in your kitchen. So we're now needing to get content this way. We need for the food this way and the light down. So cut the overhead light on your stove so you can now see with just those two light sources, what can we see? The other thing is going to be with your wife. She's holding the phone. And so she's trying to do like this. If you're on automatic, you're always going to be getting, it goes bright, it goes dark, it goes bright, it goes dark. You want to adjust what's called the exposure. It's like when you tap on the screen, you see that box come up and you can slide it up and down or whatever. That's that exposure meter. What that's going to do is determine how bright something is and how dark something is. Do a test video when you just are in the kitchen. It's usually seeming like daytime or something, or sometimes in the evening. Figure out where you need to adjust the light so the phone doesn't have to work so hard. And then probably get a tripod or something like that, or a phone holder or something, so that when you're having that shot of the food or something, you know, based on where the lights are coming from, where I need to stand and move around. The phone can see, the people can see, and all of that stuff. If she's going to keep holding the phone, that's fine. But we need to account for it. If she's looking at you, there should be a light facing you. But we got to get that light now out of the shot, so it's not like you got a big light in front of you and then your face, and then the camera's trying to decide who to focus on. It focuses on the light. It's only looking at a contrasty image. So pull that light back some, you know, so you pretty much already there. It's just about figuring out the rest. If you're doing a recorded video, it gets to be much easier. Figure out where's the best place to put your phone, where's the best place for her to hold it so that she can do it. One of the funny ones was like Aunt Fee's cooking show. And she used to curse a lot. But the thing is like, she would tell them, no, get in here. So get the phone down in here. And so like, figure out those angles. Like if you need to see in a big pot or the skillet, where's the best place to put the light universally? Where's the best place for her to stand? So she knows I shouldn't ever cross this other side of the stove, maybe, because it's harder for me to see. So once you set up a system for the what to do, it'll be like so much easier to figure that out. So it's from what I've seen and what I remember of what your things look like. You're using a phone. So give yourself some grace about the quality, but make sure the camera though is clean. That makes it the difference from being clear to foggy. If you have where you're trying to do a little bit of a reveal shot, you got steam coming out, one, have her to back up some, but have a lens cloth ready so she can wipe that camera off real quick and get that moisture off. Because if you get fog, smudge marks, or things like that on your phone, the quality is going to look terrible. So it's already moving. But you want to minimize it and start getting more focused shots instead of just at random. So if she's holding it, don't just be like, you know what I'm saying, get the shakes and hold it so that she knows, okay, like this. And then like, okay, we're moving over here. It's a little bit more methodical. So that's what I would say for your live cooking shows, for you to do that. So wait, Darylyn, what's up, Darylyn? It's my life, Darylyn. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here. Say, can you elaborate on what Ecamm is coming out with? No, because it's a secret. They haven't said it's a secret. It is a secret though. It's like I said, I put up on my YouTube community tab where I'm like, in a minute, you're going to wish, no matter what you're using or what you have, you're going to wish you had a Mac and Ecamm Live. And I stand on that. And that's literally no fluff at all. It is legit. Like, you're going to wish you had an Ecamm Live and a Mac in a minute. And you say, can I say what it is? No, I can't. I'm not going to do it. It'll give it about maybe another week, and maybe another week or so. And I'll make that announcement on the channel and do some examples of that. So said, hey, Ian MacArthur. Hey, good to see you. So your hair is so cool. Thank you so much. I went from shaving it off, which is what the intent of was to grow it back and get some dreads. So appreciate that. Let's see here. Said, I love your content. Francie Lynn, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I sincerely appreciate your time and attention. Steve H is saying vMix that he likes the call-in feature. I'm not sure how that works. How does that work, Steve? So Jonathan, you're saying your kids are spoiled. I bet they are. Shoot, because I'm like, man, everybody eating good over there. There's a few of them dishes you done made. Like, y'all can click on Jonathan over on Facebook. It does some amazing dishes, man. It just make you feel like I'm just eating these ramen noodles in quarantine. He over here making celestial dinners for the whole family. And so Oliver also asked, can you elaborate on your Ecamm, like the coming soon event? Okay. So for what this is, Ecamm Live is hosting with some of the best and most brilliant minds from Nick Nemeth, I believe Pat Flynn, Loria Petrucci of Live Streaming Pros, like just some of the best and like people on the internet, like legit. They're hosting a live streaming summit. And so what they're doing is like everybody has different topics. They didn't tell you what to create one around, but everybody's just kind of speaking from their experience. So Facebook ads people are there, people that specialize in YouTube. Like I'm talking about, growing your YouTube channel through using live streaming and these 3 live streaming secrets that I use to kind of do that. And then like I dive in depth into that training like I've never done, whether it's paid or free. I've never gone this in depth before. And then so you have all of these different speakers. So over the course of 3 days, I think it's some insane amount of like 46 different sessions, which is why it blew me away. Like 1,300 people have signed up for just my event alone. And I'm just like, this is, insanely humbling because there's so many other speakers. But you can literally go to Diana.link /leap, and that'll take you, it's the Leap into Live Stream event. And so you could go there and check that out, and it works for getting you straight to my session. But then peek around and look, and you can see like all of the different topics and all the different people. It's insane. That's there. So Jonathan's saying, gotcha. I do recorded videos for Fox 10, and they actually look really good. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's easier to, when you're live streaming, moving around, you have a bunch of different things. The biggest thing with the phone is going to be tripods. And then there's an app called Filmic Pro. It basically gives you the same capabilities that you could do on a camera, which basically opens up your options as far as control versus just, again, you point something in the phone. It's just like, oh, what do we do now? It's just like, it lets you say like, oh, that's too bright. Let me adjust this. Or, oh, I can make this a little bit better. If you're doing recorded video sessions and you're adjusting for your lights, nobody needs to see your lights. That's why I said, find out where it needs to be, put a little piece of tape on the kitchen floor or something like that. So, my range is from the side table where my prep station is to right in front of the stove. And then your wife, she got, different angles where she could stand like over the shoulder over here, that keeps the light behind y'all and on the side of you without it ever being a problem. But then if she needs to back up and she needs to get you, you're still having good lighting. So it's like, it's for as small of a space that you're operating in for that. Even if you're cooking, it'll make it real easy to use your phone. And pro tip, always use the camera on the back of your phone instead of the one in front of it. So let's see here. So what? Jordan saying, can you answer? I need help. What's better than 6 children in one bin? I don't got no kids. I have no idea. All right, so we're gonna wrap up here in a minute, y'all. vMix calling feature creates a custom link that you can send to someone you want to interview and creates a very interesting side-by-side frame. Okay, so like we did today, so that's cool. They can join in on PC or mobile device, and it uses their default camera. Awesome. Ecamm seems like only Skype is supposed, well, I guess, used for side-by-side. They are working on figuring out what best way that they want to make that same type of feature available. And I'm like, above all things, waiting for that, because again, it's like, I would rather have all of my things, my pre-roll music, my be right back screens, you know what I'm saying? Like all the system that I created, I'd rather have that, you know what I'm saying, for live streaming. And again, y'all know I'm a big Ecamm geek. So it's like, I want those things for my live stream, and it's just not happening. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is doing what Ecamm is doing. Like legit, they are the creme de la creme in my opinion. But like, they're trying to find a way to work around Skype, because Skype is process intensive. It's heavy and a bloated system, and it's old school. Ain't nobody trying to use Skype no more. It's lame. I don't like Skype. I think it's lame. So I'm patiently waiting for other ways, but this is when I cheat in my relationship and I go elsewhere, and that's why we're using Streamlining. But I also have issues with this relationship, so I go back to Ecamm. I don't do this in real life, but when it comes to software and hardware, I'm out here in these streets. So Johnny, you're saying, what's the app called? Sorry, kids got loud. It's called Filmic Pro. And so that's it's not an iPhone only. It's a whoever, like both platforms for your phone, but it will let you be able to use it for adjusting those specific settings on whatever it is that you're doing. It works amazing. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Because the stuff that I've seen people pull off on Filmic Pro with the app baffles the hell out of me, because it looks so daggone good. And phones, like, y'all spend like $1,000 on the phone. Like, give me that iPhone 5. We talk and text and a little bit of internet. It's all we need. It's all we need. And so I'm gonna share this with y'all, and then we will wrap up unless anybody else has questions and stuff like that. Gurmad TV, hello, good to see you. So what mixer am I using? Mixer today, or I'm just using StreamYard today. Let's share screen. Let's go to Filmic Pro or their website at least, and show you what that looks like. Let's see. So if you're wanting to use Filmic Pro, you should be able to see that. All right. Got some examples. Filmic Pro. Oh, so I guess they got other things. I thought it was just Filmic Pro, but I guess they own other stuff. But basically, like, you can look at this demo just using your phone. You can record, you can monitor the audio levels, you can adjust the coloring, spin that wheel a little bit to make it look how you want, control the slow motion more than anything of what you could do. It is available on a iPhone or on an Android phone. But like I said, the capabilities of this, it completely unlocks any phone in a way that I have not seen anything else do. And like I said, you can adjust the coloring. You can do some dynamite stuff with this thing. You're basically unlocking your phone completely when it comes to video. I don't know if they have live streaming capabilities and all of that, but at the same time, I think it is freaking amazing for what they allow you to do. So you pretty much are getting a camera in a, well, I mean, it's kind of stupid to say a camera in your phone. When we switched from flip phones, those were the days. But no, you're basically getting like a pro DSLR, pro mirrorless camera unlocked within your phone so that you can have those same things. So let's see here. All right, so all right, so Gurmat TV saying, I've been trying to reach you regarding YouTube channel setup and live streaming. Can you help me? It depends. What are you trying to do? And what is that? You can send me an email. You can go, actually, it's a contact page on my website, or Instagram is probably maybe the easiest way or fastest way beyond that, where you can go and shoot your message, but just tell me what you're using, what you're trying to do. If you want me to set it up, it's like, I don't do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's like, for the most part, honestly, anything that I recommend or just about do is probably on the channel. But if you need a little bit more help than that, Instagram is the fastest way to do that. Just let me know specifically in the message what it is you're trying to do, what you're working with, and then we'll take it from there. But man, 2 hours. This was not planned to go this long. So Maddox Marriage TV, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Said, can you go live on YouTube through Ecamm? Yeah. Every time you see me live on YouTube, Ecamm live, baby. So we're live on YouTube and Facebook right now through StreamYard. But you can pick if you want to do not Ecamm. You can pick if you want to do YouTube or Facebook or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can use Restream.io and go both if you want to. StreamYard is pretty cool in that regard. You don't need Restream to like just do a Facebook page and a Facebook whatever. And YouTube, you can just, it's super easy. More tutorials are coming on the channel specifically for StreamYard so that I can kind of help lift that burden for those of you that need something simpler. You want more features, but you're not like for all the excess that can come with live streaming sometimes. So, Cole. I feel like I'm in the first grade trying to read these names. Cole. May the Lord bless you and keep you, Austin. Now, let's see. Koa Full. How would y'all even pronounce this? Tell me how to do this. Mr. and or Mrs. K. Love your content. Learn so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm glad that I could be of service to you. Ecamm Live Pro, do they take monthly payments or is it a one-time payment? It is now a monthly payment. It used to be when I got it, it was a one-time payment thing. And I knew that that was kind of coming because everybody else legit was switching from subscription to whatever. So it is a monthly thing, but it's worth it. Wambuin said, I have to go for now. Always fun. Great info. Glad I was able to catch the stream live. Have a great week. Well, same to you, Wambu. You have a wonderful stream. A wonderful weekend. But that's where we're going to leave it. I'm getting out of here. We've been 2 hours. I appreciate your time and your attention and your love and devotion. But no, thanks for joining the stream for those that hopped on. We'll probably do some more of these. So you guys seem to really enjoy it. It really seems to be helpful. So we may be doing some more help casts where I go live and you can hop on and ask your specific questions and get help, which is why I like that you can join via your phone, because just like earlier, you saw them go, it's like, I'm using this and you can show it and I can say, oh, I know what that is, or whatever. So, but yeah, guys, so saying you're very helpful. Again, my pleasure. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Guys, Diana.link /sleep. Go register for my talk. You're going to enjoy it. But with that, guys, with passion, I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.